urban debate on Mirror Now. I am Heena Gambhir. 2 weeks ago, viewers, we showed you how a Neta from Andhra Pradesh and a Neta's daughter from Bengaluru manhandled cops. VVIP Arrogance was caught on camera. Today, it was senior Congress leader Renuka Chowdhury who was a part of Congress party's Chalo Raj Bhavan protest in Hyderabad over ED summons to Congress MP Rahul Gandhi in connection with the National Herald case. When the cops tried to stop her from marching forward, Renuka Chowdhury got into an argument with the cops. And then this happened.
किरण भाई ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ చేస్తున్నారు ఆమెను ఇక్కడ నుంచి తరలించాలని
In the video that has now gone viral, Renuka Chowdhury can be seen arguing with the cops, then grabbing the collar of a policeman in uniform on duty. Very soon, a group of women police officers take her away and put her in a van. Renuka Chowdhury was later booked for obstructing government servants from discharging their duties and for assault. Earlier, I spoke to Ms. Renuka Chowdhury. Here's what she said about the entire incident. Listen in.
I also have cases against them. I'll also file cases.
Why did it happen?
They were pushing me, Baba. I have a problem with my leg. I was losing my balance, so I fell on him like that. I don't know that young man. Of course, I'll apologize to that young man. But I expect the police to apologize to me for manhandling us. Why are there so many men police around us? Ask them that question.
So I asked Ms. Renuka Chowdhury earlier about how she will like to react to the visuals that we are seeing on the screens right now about what happened, about the way she handled this cop on duty. Here's what she said.
There is enough visuals. Why don't you show that where we are being manhandled and we are being pushed into the policeman, and where I'm addressing the media and then they come and assault us for no reason? Why aren't you showing that? Haven't you received the visuals? How convenient is it that you only show me? See how many police have been brought to handle us now. Are you seeing? This is live. Show them how many police have been brought to this police station where we are just 4 women. Please see. Now anything can happen and you'll still talk about Renuka Chowdhury catching someone's collar.
My shirt.
This lady's shirt has been torn. My shirt. The other lady's thighs are bruised. Pushed, brutalized.
So you're trying to suggest that you were protesting peacefully and cops actually mishandled your colleagues and you, and that was a reaction?
This many police to come here. Why are they brought here for us 4 women?
We are the biggest criminals.
So we are the criminals, not the MLAs, their sons who are conducting rapes on minor girls, men who have killed themselves in police stations, MLA's son, the entire family killed themselves on video. I'll send you all that. This is the Hyderabad police, Telangana police.
Ms. Renuka Chowdhury, you've been a member of parliament as well in the Rajya Sabha, a very, very senior Congress leader. What is the message, going with an action like this by you?
I appreciate what you are saying, but you haven't seen the whole. You can't do cut paste. Have you seen the visual before that? What provoked this? Tell me. What provoked this? What happened? Actually, I didn't go to hit the poor guy. The lady, they were pushing us from behind. I almost fell on him. I reached to hold his shoulder. I didn't even know who was standing there. I just reached out blindly to hold the shoulder so that I don't fall. And I caught his collar instead. Now see how many men police have been brought here. This is not concerning you. Huh? These are not my rights. You don't want to see what they're doing here.
Let me now go across to my colleague Somit joining us on the broadcast for more on this. Somit, good evening. So, an important development there. Ms. Renuka Chowdhury has been booked after the video went viral. She said that she's ready to apologize as well, but there are some conditions that are going to be applied to that apology.
Well, exactly. First of all, you're assaulting a police officer. That is really unruly behavior. And finally, you're coming out of the police station after a case is booked against this Neta. And she finally, when we asked the question, she said that I apologize to that police officer. And also, I would like to, regret about what happened today. And actually, the Congress Netas, along with the local cadre, have started gathering there at the Hyderabad junction today morning at around 11:30. And later, top Netas arrived. And the police were clearly telling them, don't gather here. And there is no police permission for this protest, and they have started marching towards the Raj Bhavan. Meanwhile, all of a sudden, even police didn't expect that, they will be resorting to the violence, because they were clearly saying that we want to peacefully protest and we just want to hand over the memorandum to the governor. And however, that didn't happen, and because there was no permission and there was no appointment given by the governor, Tamilisai Sundararajan. And immediately, few Youth Congress leaders resorted to the violence. They immediately brought a two-wheeler vehicle and Activa, scooty. And, they stopped the buses on main road, and in front of a bus, they have, tossed this two-wheeler, and later started vandalizing this TSRTC bus, the government bus. And also, in havoc-like situation created there, the conductor, the bus driver, also the woman passenger sitting in that bus really panicked. And when we spoke to them, they were crying because, stones were pelted, and, stones were really big in size, and it was like a boulders were pelted on the bus, and the bus was completely damaged. Even the ambulance was stuck in that traffic. And finally, after all these leaders, big Netas have been taken into custody and shifted from that spot because, that Hyderabad junction connects to several areas. And from that Hyderabad junction, 500 meters away, Raj Bhavan is located. Panjagutta police station is located. In just 1.5 kilometer radius, Chief Minister's office is located. His residence is located. So that is one of the sensitive spot. And also, we can say that in that peak hours moment, huge traffic can be seen there. 2 ambulances were stuck because of this protest. And they so-called Satyagraha protest turned into a complete violent protest. And later, Geeta Reddy, and along with, first she arrived, and later Renuka Chowdhury arrived with alibis. And we also what happened when police tried to take the situation into control. She has assaulted a sub-inspector of a local police station. And later, however, she was taken to the police station. Even when, police have asked her to come into the police station, she was reluctant to even step down from the police vehicle, stating that you have taken, you have brought me here, you have to drop me to my residence. So finally, she was booked under relevant sections of IPC, including 149, 150, 151, 353 for obstructing the policeman of government servants' duty and all from discharging the duties. And also, assault section has been registered against her. Police said that further action will be initiated as of now because it's late in the evening. After 5, police can't, keep the woman into the custody. They have let her finally go.
So she has been booked now. You're telling us further action is going to be initiated against her. Thank you, Somit, for the moment for joining us with all of those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. Let me now also go across to my colleagues Mahadev as well as Imran joining us on the broadcast. Good evening to both of you. Mahadev, to you first. It's not for the first time that we have seen Netas taking law in their own hands, and that's the reason why this question becomes very, very important. Are Netas above law?
Well, there's two incidents that have been reported, and both these incidents about VVIP racism, because our netas, whether they are elected or even after they are out of power, very clearly continue to have these airs, and both these incidents just go to highlight this. Now, the first incident that is, of course, all been captured on camera is that of Renuka Chowdhury, who's seen surrounded by women policemen, but then she chooses to grab a male policeman by the scruff of his neck, by his collar, and of course is very clearly seen manhandling him. Now, in her own defense, she came out to say that she was actually falling, and that is why she had to grab a person next to her, and that's what led to this kind of a situation. Later, she was seen protesting inside a vehicle, saying that the police had in fact acted in an excessive manner, and that is why she was forced to resort to this. She did, of course, eventually apologize, but said the police also owes her an apology. Now, whatever may be the action of the police, the fact is that there is a legal method to deal with that. Cases can be filed. All of this very often is found on camera, and with that evidence, why not actually approach a court of law if one does feel wronged? What is the example being set by any elected leader, whether it is Renuka Chowdhury or even Prakash Hukkeri, who is seen in fact trying to show his VVIP status to a policeman as well, when he is just asked to follow the rules and laws. Just because he's an elected MLC, does this give him the right to actually in any way, boss over or bully over a cop? That's a question that certainly comes to mind. It's not the first time that this has happened. This has happened several times in the past, but these instances continuing just once again go to show how netas require to be sensitive. Just because they are elected representatives, they are meant to serve the people who actually vote them into power, not bully the officials and the system that is there to facilitate them and allow them to complete their jobs.
All right, Mahadev, thank you for the moment for joining us and putting things in perspective for our viewers. Let me now go across to my colleague Imran as well, joining us live from Bengaluru this evening. Imran, good evening. Last week only we were talking about that case from Bengaluru where a Neta's daughter also had this feeling that, just because she's a Neta's daughter, she can manhandle the cops, she can, take law in her own hands. And the question is, what happens after these videos go viral, assurances are given that, this will not happen again? What happens after that?
Well, absolutely, that's the right question, and nothing happens after that, and the state same thing prevails. And we've seen earlier also too, as you were mentioning earlier, that Arvind Limbavali's daughter created ruckus when a cop stopped her for overspeeding, and she threw tantrum saying that she's a leader's daughter, and she said that, asked the cop even that, do you know who my father is? And when the cop fined him 900 rupees for overspeeding, she didn't pay the fine, and he created entire ruckus, which was caught, and we reported on it. And similarly, when Prakash Hukkeri wanted to get his certificate after he won the MLC election, Lakshmi Abadkar, another leader, was there who wanted to go join him. Right. The cop said that no, not more than Prakash Hukkeri will be allowed. But usually these things happen, but goes reported. But what happens is no action follows, neither against the MLA or the minister who throws the tantrum there.
All right, Imran, appreciate you joining us with all of those details. So that's our big focus this evening on Urban Debate, viewers. Are netas above law? When they become netas, do they have the license to manhandle the cops on duty? Because it has happened in the past. It continues to happen. When will this entitlement culture really end in the country? Joining us on the broadcast this evening is Yashovardhan Jha Azad, former IPS officer, Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC, who's also a citizen voice on the show tonight. Mohan, Krishna, spokesperson of the BJP, is joining us. Aiyshwarya, Mahadev, Congress spokesperson, also live with us on the broadcast this evening. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Mr. Azad, let me begin the discussion with you. You heard what my colleagues had to say about not just the incident that was reported from Hyderabad today, but what has happened over the last few days. And is this acceptable? The kind of behavior that we see from our netas, eventually after the video goes viral, they say we are ready to apologize, but we behaved like this because the cops, were provoking us. How will you like to respond, sir?
Well, there is a background to it. In Indian politics, traditionally, agitations have gone on. And unless you do guttham guthi with the police, you don't come out shining in the ranks of politics. Many careers have been made through police stations. And so, therefore, to make an impact, there has to be some kind of confrontation with the police. Every agitation. Which agitation has been quiet? Farmers' agitation? No. CA agitation? No. Now, Congress has, full right to resurrect its leader or its position and the right to protest for its leader. But these actions were in very poor taste. MS Renuka Chowdhury, what I saw, she may be having some reason which she's saying that there should be a video of what happened exactly earlier. But the very sight, she was not losing balance. She caught the collar of a police officer, which is just not allowed. And I wish she was arrested immediately. Of course, she was taken and perhaps it was evening. Action should have been taken. Secondly, MP or MLA is not a very important person. He's a representative of the people. He deserves the respect, but he's no more important than any ordinary citizen. And that is why you see, when you talk about protection, it is called personal protection. It's not called VIP protection. Why I'm saying is that this kind of entitlement exercised by the so-called VIPs will always stay only for the simple reason that the local police has to pay obeisance to the local representatives, because otherwise he's going to be transferred. So when you are talking about lack of autonomy, you're talking about lack of any kind of independence, these things are bound to happen. And I think the entitlement culture will continue.
And the point is for how long it's going to really continue, because we are repeatedly seeing these kind of incidents, and it's across political parties. A couple of days ago, we got two reports. One was from Andhra Pradesh, the other one was from Karnataka, and now we had a senior Congress leader who's been a member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha as well, Aiyshwarya Mahadev. How will you like to respond? What can really justify the action of Ms. Renuka Chowdhury today?
Heena, and I think I was on the same show when the news about Arvind Limbawali's daughter broke out, and I do reiterate the fact that our police force does deserve respect. And in this matter, I think it is also very different because, Mr. Mohan Krishna himself was on the same show saying Limbawali and his daughter will apologize or clarify. While that has not happened, Ms. Renuka Chowdhury also put out an emphatic apology about what had happened. It may not have been the sequence where she was tripping. Yes, it does seem very different and intentional, but also give her the benefit to tell you what she was going through, because the women around her were hurt. Their clothes were ripped. Somebody had obviously hurt their head and they had scratches and whatnot. And this is where the question comes out. Well, you talk about VVIP arrogance. I think it also begs the question to see police excesses at the insistence of a government, because over the past few days, and I at no point condone any of these actions, but I'm saying there have been situations where members of parliament have been dragged out, the ones who even have this privilege as so-called. You've seen former ministers, very senior leaders. You've seen the police break into a party's headquarters in Delhi. And this is also the question that when you talk about VVIP excesses, which has to be condemned unequivocally, I think you also look at the converse at how the police in a lot of cases have also heaped upon brutality. You saw my youth Congress president who was being carried, have a cop run and come and kick him. There was a Congress worker who was keeled over and obviously throwing up because he'd been kicked in the stomach that hard. You see Jebi Mathur is sitting MP, you see DK Suresh is sitting MP, all being carried away, brutalized. And even today, our own MLA today in the protest has her arm scratched to the extent that she's filing a medical legal case. In any case where any action has happened against the police, it is their right and responsibility to file a case against
them. On the issue of police excesses that you're talking about, Ms. Aiyshwarya Mahadev, I'll get Mr. Azad to respond because that's also being questioned. But what justifies the action by Ms. Renuka Chowdhury today? She held the collar of a policeman. What justifies it? As a Neta, can anybody take law in their own hands? What is the message being sent to the people of this country then? Tomorrow, if somebody is stopped by a cop, then even an ordinary person is, okay if that person, holds a policeman by the collar or pushes a policeman on duty? What kind of a message are we trying to send is what I want to ask.
It's extremely unfortunate. At no point am I going to condone what she has done. And rather, in fact, I will obviously condemn the fact that that has happened, because you do need to, even at the site of excesses, the Congress party believes that when they go low, we go high, and also that we respect them, even though all this is happening against us. But I think also the circumstances, yes, it sets a very bad message. But she herself, when, that entire video clip was played on other channels also, she says, I offer an apology, but I also want you to look at what has happened to me in this case as a woman with men cops surrounding her. Yes, of course, it's very unfortunate that has happened. And if action has to be taken, it will. It obviously does not set a good moral message to anybody. And she has been responsible enough to talk about it. And she even said, I apologize for that has happened, but I want you to look at what all has happened to me also today. Her action, obviously, as a political representative, should be above reproach, but the police themselves, who are supposed to safeguard the citizenry, also have a higher responsibility to ensure they do not brutalize or indulge in human right abuses just because they wear that particular uniform or have the authority to detain people.
Mr. Azad, will you like to respond to this?
Certainly, I would love to respond. You see, the point here is, I appreciate the concerns of what MS Mahadev has raised. But Delhi police is a little different from Hyderabad police in the sense that the regimes which are overlooking the police are different. So here, where the accusation was that a different kind of a government, which is arraigned directly against the Congress party, is organizing all this, in Hyderabad, the police is under a different regime, that is a different political party. I totally endorse the view that the police should not have entered the AICC headquarters. There are certain things, lines which you never cross. That was absolutely wrong. And I don't think there was any senior officer. If there was anybody, he was reprimanded them immediately. Now, the second point is, how do you handle such agitations? If there is a crowd and it is trying to burn tires, if it is trying to, just block roads, in Hyderabad, if it is throwing stones, tell me, how do you manage it? Do you manage it through drones? Do you manage it through some kind of a layer? These things happen. They are bound to happen. And in this Gutham Guthi, which is loved by both sides, basically, you cannot prevent certain incidents of this kind. There is no better way to handle, because even the police, you saw in Delhi, they were without lathis. Now, how do you handle it? If the police is coming, if the police is being pushed through the barricades, somebody is jumping across. So these things are bound to happen. There is no perfect way of dealing with such things.
Mr. Mohan, Krishna, now, it is across party lines. It happens in all political parties. It happened with a BJP Neta earlier last week, and today we're talking about a Congress leader. I mean, what happens after that? Here also, Ms. Renuka Chowdhury has said that I'll apologize to that man, but I expect police to apologize to me for manhandling us. Mr. Mohan, Krishna, can you hear me?
Good evening, Heena. Good evening to all the panelists.
Good evening.
These are the issues which is happening more and which is coming into the limelight because of certain attitudes of the politicians, which is bad for the country and which is bad for the society also. Irrespective of parties, across the party lines I'm talking. Coming to the point, what has happened today, and this is not the first time that Renuka Chowdhury has acted in such a manner. In Parliament also, she laughed in such a way that anybody could have seen that, and they have guessed it what kind of laugh it was. And Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi gave a nice tight slap on for her law on that day.
He's being
I
sexist
thought,
now.
and people,
I never
no,
interrupt,
Aishwarya, I
but
have
this
not
is
disturbed you.
unacceptable.
I have not
I
disturbed you.
never
Please don't
interrupt, but
interfere.
this is
Don't
pathetic. You
interfere.
cannot allow it.
Don't
He made a
interfere.
sexist
Don't
remark
interfere.
against a woman sitting in parliament, and
Don't
this man is
interfere.
justifying it.
Hina, this
I
is not
never
right.
interrupt. Hina, you know this.
Let me
But
put
you
my
should not
points
allow
forth.
such terms or
Let me
such
put
sort of
my
things to
points,
be
Hina, please.
normalized. He called her, Prime Minister Modi called her Shurpanaka on the floor of the house and then laughed. And that was sexist. And you are allowing this man to get
But
away
Mr.
with
Mohan, Krishna, how are these two issues even related? I asked you a question about Netas taking law in their own hands. Last week, it was the Andhra Pradesh BJP
Absolutely,
chief. We've also seen what happened in Bengaluru the same day.
Let me tell you, in Bangalore also, in across the country today, in all the states in the country, they have done the same thing. They were on the roads. They were in the law of the land has been
Well, I think that's a bad connection out there. We'll try and reconnect with Mr. Mohan Krishna and get his reaction on this. Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, as a citizen of this country, how will you like to respond to the visuals that we are getting today of Ms. Renuka Chowdhury and last week of Andhra Pradesh BJP chief, in a way assaulting cops who are just doing their job and then justifying it?
Foremost, what Ms. Chowdhury did today was unacceptable. That I think there is no doubt about. And unfortunately, her apology was half-baked. She said, I was tripping over and was trying, which is not being truthful at all. I think the whole country can see it. It would have been far nicer if Ms. Chowdhury had accepted that I lost my temper and I held this colleague and I apologize unconditionally. That's the kind of statement a senior leader should make, not such a half-hearted story going around. But let me point out, I do not agree with the title that you are giving. Only Netas do this. In our nation, everybody with power does it. IAS, IPS, money people, all of these people have the same approach and attitude. And that is because our rule of law does not really hold. India ranks 79th in the rule of law index, and I think it's slipping down further. And what we need to be concerned about is there is an anger, there is hatred on the streets of India. Everywhere there is gross polarization and dialogues are very few. In fact, we talked about Ms. Chowdhury's laugh in the parliament and her being called Sharpatka. Both were condemnable. Both were certainly condemnable. But we are losing track. We are going down the slope. And I wish we focused on that. There is a need to realize that we are not going towards a better rule of law index. We are going worse. And we need to stop this hatred, this anger everywhere. Powerful people have always been, even judges, policemen, IAS officers. There was an IAS officer who got an entire stadium emptied in Delhi so that he and his wife and dog could walk there. This is common. Let's stop saying it's the Netas only and the political class. All people with power are misusing the power, unfortunately. And this can stop when we have a better law index, when we have a better judiciary, when we have enforcement of law, which is extremely poor. And in this situation, these things happen. And I repeat, Ms. Chowdhury would have been far more gracious if she had admitted, I lost my temper or I lost my cool and I apologize. Instead of saying I would consider apologizing, it was such a sham. It was an absolute sham, saying that to call it an apology is really apologizing for the word apology.
So it was a sham apology. Ms. Aiyshwarya, Mahadev, will you like to respond? Because she also said that, I'll apologize to the man here, the sub-inspector, but I expect police to apologize to me for manhandling us. But we can see in the visuals very, very clearly how at that point in time, she was not really losing her balance, but she is saying that, cops were pushing her. She had a problem with her leg and she lost her balance and then she fell on him like that. Just look at these visuals.
Heena, obviously, Ms. Renuka Chowdhury has come out and clarified about it. Obviously, she was not losing her balance in that. I don't know if she's talking about another particular case at hand, but what has happened is she has spoken about how women, the people around her, their clothing was ripped, they are hurt, they have scratches and whatnot, they were manhandled. She did offer an apology saying that in the complete video, that man did nothing to me, I have tripped. Maybe that was a different instance. In this, however, I do expect that my party and my leadership is better than that, will rise above, because all across the country today, you're seeing the sort of excesses on them, from members of parliament to common people. This is happening all across, and it's extremely unfortunate that it is. Mr. Azad spoke about how two different dispensations, the police forces are different. Sir, it does not mean that in down south that any of the parties there are favorable to the Congress or allies or whatever. I think that begs the larger question of how much can the police actually freely do their job also. But in this instance, I think that, Mr. Mohan Krishna made something that was extremely condemnable, that sort of sexist remark that he was reiterating. But in this instance, she has clarified that an entire video should be seen and you cannot look at it in isolation. If there was larger things that aggravated her and she lost her cool, that is also unfortunate, because as a public representative, she's expected to be more. And, and as a leader, she will rise above, and she has risen above, and she's far more respectable in that situation. And I think you should all give her the benefit of looking at that entire video, because there are women around her whose clothes are ripped. That does not happen out of nowhere. You look at the fact that there are men in and around her. I see ma'am also is on the show, and I'm very certain that ma'am will clarify, because I know her to be somebody who has risen above in all situations, and at no point will such actions ever be undertaken by her unless it has been gross action against her. And that should also be spoken about, Heena, and not just from the prism of some VVIP excesses, to be very honest.
Okay, Aiyshwarya, I'm just requesting you to stay on with us, requesting my guest to stay on with us. In fact, Ms. Renuka Chowdhury herself is now joining us live on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Ma'am, thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate this evening. We spoke to you earlier also. You have also said that you lost balance as you were being pushed, and then you held the collar of the policeman. What exactly happened? Because in the visuals, we can clearly see you having an argument with the cops who were present around you. Then you hold the collar of the cop who was probably just doing his job, ma'am.
I love it when all of you sit and pontify from your air-conditioned studios and you're not on the ground and you don't see the truth. In that visual, where is my left hand, please see? Look at it properly. Where is my left hand? My left hand has been pulled back at an abnormal angle and twisted, which is when you please watch. For no reason, why are the women catching me? Why? I was addressing the media. I was not in the protest. By the time I reached, everything was over. All the leaders were arrested and taken away. When I got out of the car at the barricade, then the police and the media came to interview me. I was giving them bites. And suddenly, out of the blue, these guys attack us. Out of the blue. And they twisted my arm. You please look carefully. Where is my left arm? They twisted my arm. And naturally, I lost balance. I'm not some spring chicken. And I fell forward. And there is a clear clip. I'll send you. The Telugu media people have it. Where clearly you can see that I'm asking them, but on what grounds are you arresting me? For what? Under what sections? What reason do you have to arrest me? Because I have been raising my voice about the inaction of the police in all these months in Telangana. I will give you the case numbers. I will show you the evidence. People who have killed themselves on TV, on video, saying that we are harassed by this minister in the district, in Khammam district by Puwada Ajay, who's a TRS minister. There is an MLA's son in Kottagudam, Vanama Venkateswara Rao's son, who's harassed women so much that the whole family, husband, wife and children, recorded everything on a video and killed themselves. The guy is out on bail. Not a single SI is suspended. No action has been taken. Minor girl rapes continue. We protested about that. Because I've been saying all this today, they did this cut and paste job.
But ma'am, what we are also seeing in the video that we are playing right now as we speak with you, we can see you holding the collar of the policeman.
Obviously, I was falling down.
From the
What do you want
visuals,
me
of
to
course,
do?
we can make out there is argument taking place and you hold... No, but then, ma'am, isn't it like taking law in your hand?
You're amazing. Please see the full clip. Where is my left arm in that? Please see. You know, all of you sit and become so sanctimonious and pious and preach to the whole country. Why are you not questioning the police? On what grounds? What grounds? Just see how much they're pushing and pulling. For what? What was my crime? What did I do? Was I part of the protest? Was I there on the spot when the protest was...
You are saying you were being pushed. It was a peaceful protest. You were being pushed. And this was just a reaction to the action of police.
I was falling on that poor guy. Had I fallen, he would have dropped dead. With all my weight. I lost my balance. I was falling forward.
Ma'am, there is a lady officer also. There is a lady officer also, ma'am, in the visual that we can see right now who's trying to take your hand away from the collar of this cop, this sub-inspector, and trying to calm you down.
Of course they're trying to calm me down. Where is my left arm? Why aren't you showing that? Where is my left arm and why is my left arm not visible? If I've caught him with one hand and collar, there should be my other arm also. Na? I happen to have both hands. Where is my left arm? Why was it being twisted and turned? And then I was being pushed. There's a clear visual of where they're showing the police pushing me. You people do a cut and paste job and you're preaching to me. Please ask the police. Where is my left arm? Show that visual. Show that visual.
Ms. Renuka Chowdhury, we are showing the complete visual from all angles. We are showing to our viewers what exactly had happened.
No, you haven't shown. You haven't come to the point.
But now...
No, 1 minute.
No, we are showing it.
Let me say it. I'm the victim here. Let me say it. I was addressing the media. I got out of my car and I said, where's everyone? They said, everyone's arrested. Sab ho gaya, khatam ho gaya. The roads were empty. So I said, okay. In the meantime, the media rushed to me and they said, please give us interviews. So I was giving them bites. Suddenly, out of the blue, the police came and attacked those women around me. They tore their clothes. They pinched and hurt them. One lady who was being pushed into the police van, her head got injured by the door frame. And I said, why? Why are you people doing this? What section are you applying to us? What have we done? Don't whitewash what the police do. In Telangana, there is a total collapse of law and order. There in the end number, why don't you investigate all this? The end number of cases where people have killed themselves on video and given dying declarations and not even an SI is suspended. You're trusting those police? You're trusting these people? Don't fall for the trap which these governments do of doing cut and paste jobs and showing you half. Where is that video where I'm talking peacefully to the media? Where they've come and attacked us? Unprovoked. And I'm asking them, why are you doing this? What section are you booking me?
Cops attacked you. Ms. Chowdhury, I'm requesting you to stay on with us. We have Mr. Yashovardhan Azad, former IPS officer, also on the broadcast this evening. Mr. Azad, we were just discussing this just now, but how would you like to...
This is what happens.
Respond to what Ms. Renuka Chowdhury is saying. She was pushed. She is the victim, she says.
First of all, let me say that I am very happy doing the discussion from my air-conditioned room. I actually love it because I feel very comfortable. And I'm not comfortable going out on the streets because neither I'm a cop nor I'm a member of the Congress party. And of course, even common public, like Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, who talked about a better rule of law, and myself, we also have our opinion. I'm not here to defend any actions of the police, nor do I am aware of what Ms. Renuka Chowdhury went through and raised so many issues, and whether this was a planned vendetta by the police against her. You have showed me a clip, and I am saying that maybe there is a sequence of actions We should have something else also from before to see what is exactly the sequence. But catching the collar of a policeman is in a very, very poor taste, and the law should take its full force against the person who has done it. This kind of VIP entitlement and talking like this and condemning others that we are discussing in air-conditioned rooms is perhaps not warranted from a senior leader from any party.
Ms. Renuka Chowdhury, you know, the point is still the same. You holding the collar of a cop who's doing his duty.
No one is disputing what his duty is. What is my right as a citizen is the question. I was peacefully addressing the media. What provoked the police to come and push us from behind and twist our arms? And you would have been happy if I had fallen and looked like a victim where they can all trample all over us. Then we get sympathy. But if a woman talks tough, then of course everyone is grand in condemning how grandly they all talk. You know, none of you were on the ground. None of you know what happened. Please feel free to ask regional media. They will show you the entire clips where we are standing and talking. Unprovoked, we are attacked. Unprovoked, the poor 3 women around me are shoved into the policeman, pinched, bruised. And there are hundreds of cases in this state of Telangana where people have given video evidence why they're killing themselves. Not even an SI is suspended. But that is, you see, they are not VIPs. We are the senior leaders. And it is our virtue to get beaten. When a woman is nicely thrashed and beaten and pinched and shoved and the arms are twisted and we are falling,
Ma'am,
we should not
you
hold
are
anyone's
a
hand.
very, very senior Congress leader. You've been a member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha,
I brought
and
laws
people
for
look
this
up to
country
you.
as women.
Whatever you are going to do, whatever you are going to say, people are going to follow. Is this the message you are trying to give to the people of this
What is the
country?
message you would like me to give? That if the police shove and push you, you just be a little poor thing, wring your hands in distress and cry. And then you're a victim, and then you will get national sympathy. But if you stand up and if you are being pushed and you hang on to some guy in front of you, I don't even know that poor chap. And neither does he know me. He has no personal vendetta against me.
But
That
ma'am,
much I can
later
assure
you've
you.
said that you will apologize to the man.
Of
You
course
also
I'll
said
apologize.
later that you are ready
Of
to
course I will
apologize to the
apologize.
sub-inspector.
I have no hesitation in apologizing, provided the police also apologize to me. Under
So-
what sections did they attack us?
But you
Under
still
what-
accept that maybe your action, maybe your action was not justified. It should not have been done. Do you accept it?
No,
What you
I
did
do
was
not accept
incorrect?
it because I did not attack him with intent. My arm was twisted. I was losing balance. There were 4 cops behind me pushing and shoving. Please see. They tore my blouse. What are you talking? You guys are not even aware of what the truth is. This is the biggest frustration, and everyone sits and pontifies and acts so sanctimonious and correct about it. Why aren't you asking the police? What provoked them? Why did they come and attack us? Some other guy is standing in front of me. I'll simply go up and catch his collar, is it? Wow. Why aren't you applying your mind to see what the other side of the story is? Why would I? I don't know that poor chap. He doesn't know me. We have no reason. I have no reason to hold his collar. I reached for his shoulder because I was going to fall on him. And I couldn't get his shoulder. I got his collar. Please see. Where's my left arm? Please see. Please see how many people. How do you expect me to keep my balance at my age? We are senior this, senior that. We are great leaders, all this. But we should be victimized. We should be trashed. We should be that. Then great sympathy for women. Is that the way we look at things?
Mr. Azad,
I think we are going nowhere. I mean, Ms. Renuka Chowdhury has made her case, and she has said that it is the entire fault of the police. They have pushed, they have done all kinds of things. Since she's right, we are in our air-conditioned rooms. We are not on the ground, so I haven't seen the videos from all the angles. So we can't decide from here. On the basis of that particular clip, in which she is holding the collar, that is in very poor taste, and we have maintained that that's a wrong action. If she says that she was falling and she held on as a kind of a support and the left arm is not visible, well, then that's her version. And I'm sure once that case, I believe, is registered, it come out the actual facts in the investigation. And I think Mr. Shailesh Gandhi has a very valid point, which he should also.
Mr. Azad, may I ask you, because you have enough experience and you can guide us, do you believe that the police were right in attacking 4 women it was unprovoked? Have you seen the visuals of how many men police were brought to the police station? Are you aware that we were seated 4 women into the police van forcibly, where the other women got injured, her head crashed against the door frame of the van, and we were taken for 2 hours on the road, 2 hours without being told where we are taken. Our phones were not there. We could not contact our lawyers or families. Then we are taken to a Golconda police station, which is the Boondocks. And there, a galaxy of phalanx, a whole battalion of men police were brought with 2 additional vans. I'll give you those visuals. Please tell me if all that...
Actually, the visuals which we have seen, Ms. Chowdhury, also, I don't know whether we are conflating these 2 incidents. I'm not aware. This might have happened, certainly, what you're saying. But also what happened was that the road was blocked. There were boulders being thrown at the, buses.
I was not there, sir.
2 ambulances were stuck. This is what my colleague who was covering this particular protest told us, Ms. Renuka Chowdhury and Mr. Azad. 2 ambulances were stuck because of what was happening there.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. So, and we were not exactly at the place, or we were able to see the visuals where the policemen are attacking the women. I appreciate.
I was not even there. Please understand. Yashovardhan Azad ji, I was not even there. I was not on the spot. By the time I reached, everything was over. All the primary leaders were taken away and arrested. So naturally, when I got down from the car and the whole road was empty, everything, the media came to question me. When the media I was talking to them peacefully, that we were attacked. 4 women.
Okay.
And I send you
so,
the visual.
Ms. Renuka Chowdhury, you are insisting that what you did was not incorrect. It was just a reaction to the provocation by the police officials present on the ground.
Nothing justifies if I have held the policeman's collar deliberately. But I haven't. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. I don't know that poor fellow. Neither does he know me. He has no axe to grind against me. I have no axe to grind against him. I will not hesitate to apologize because it is the way I am. But I also don't expect women to wring their hands and cry in this great despair. I want an answer from the police on what grounds did they attack us on the spot? For what reason? Why? What was the provocation? Under what sections did they come to seize me and push me from it? They tore my blouse. I can't show that on national TV. They've torn that other woman's clothes, a Muslim lady, Uzma. They tore her kurta. The other woman has bruises the size of lemons on her thighs. Unfortunately, we can't show and exhibit all this on national TV. I am only asking, what provoked the police? Because I have been raising my voice against their inaction on genuine cases. So this is a cut and paste job. For what reason did they attack me? That's all I'm asking. I have no hesitation to apologize to that poor young man because he is as much a victim as I am.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it there. Ms. Renuka Chowdhury, appreciate you joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Mr. Azad, thank you very much for your time this evening. Shailesh Gandhi, Aiyshwarya, Mahadev and Mohan, Krishna, thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. Of course, as Ms. Renuka Chowdhury is telling us here on Mirror Now that she and other leaders who were present there were in fact provoked by the police force present on the ground. That's something that we'll of course be also trying to find out for you. We'll of course be tracking this story very, very closely ahead as well. But for the moment, heading into a very short break, there's lots lined up for you on the other side too. Stay with us.